Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's video. So in this video, we are going to be going over all of the voice actors and all of the staff, the ones that will be working on this show behind the scenes, to hopefully make 7's a very memorable show. Now, I do want to kick this video off by saying I'm not really going to go into detail on 7's as a whole. I've already done a video on that, my initial reactions, and there will be plenty more 7's discussions going forward and discussions looking at how this is really the beginning of a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Era. But this video is going to be entirely focused on the 4 characters that we know of, the 4 people voicing those characters, the 3 guys, including the 1 protagonist and the 1 girl lead, Roman, and the writer, the director, the character designer, all of that good stuff. And one of my big wants before this show was announced was I wanted fresh blood. Shin Yoshida and Katsumi Ono have done some great stuff for the franchise, but in one way or another, Ono or Yoshida have worked on Yu-Gi-Oh! Since Duel Monsters. Shin Yoshida, besides Arc 5, has been a part of every single Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, and there were a lot of plot points and tropes that were very easy to pick up on, so myself and I know a lot of others wanted a brand new writer and a brand new director, people that had nothing to do with Yu-Gi-Oh! Prior, that were going to be given a brand new shot at this franchise. And maybe this is at the most drastic level of that request. That is what's happened, and so I am very excited to see what this director and writer, what this tangent and what this team will bring for Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's. We also do have someone that is very familiar. I believe he's worked on Yu-Gi-Oh! Since either Season 0 or Duel Monsters. Someone that has been very involved with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise from the very beginning, working on this show, so I will go over that. So while we do have some brand new blood to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime franchise, we also have a 2-decade veteran that will be helping out the show as well. So before we get into the staff, I want to talk about the voice actors, because I actually think that the voice acting tangent that we have is very, very strong. We're going to start with Yugioh, who probably has the most unknown voice actor to date, and that's because if you look at his Anime News Network profile, there is barely anything. His name is Hiro Ishibashi, and this is a 15-year-old VA. Most likely, if you're watching this video, you are older than the voice actor of our next protagonist. The only role that I can see him having is in the Children of the Sea movie. He voiced Umi, so if you want to look that up, you're more than welcome to, although we did hear him in the trailer. But this new rookie, I guess you can say, to the voice acting industry is going to be surrounded by a lot of people that he could definitely learn from. And the first one I want to focus on is Luke, our blue-haired student, probably going to be the second most important character in the show if I had to make an early prediction. His voice actor is Yashiro Taku. That might sound familiar because Yashiro has voiced the Battle Beast from Arc 5, but way more notably, he has voiced Flame from Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. So for those of us that watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, since Battle Beast didn't really talk in Arc 5, for those of us that have watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, we do have a familiar voice actor right off the bat, and I thought Flame's voice actor was really good. I liked Flame a lot as a character. To think of his voice being in an 11-year-old is kind of weird because he has a more deeper voice, but hey, it's going to be interesting to see that play out. So we have a brand new voice actor. We have a VA who we're at least familiar with in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community if you've watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, the past show. And then definitely the most notable is Hanai Natsuki, who is voicing Gakuto, the 12-year-old purple-haired class president. And Natsuki is the voice actor of Dipper, of Hokuto from Arc 5. Dipper was his dub name, the Stars XZ's guy. But way more notably, he is the voice actor of Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. And when I read that, I was like, oh wow, that is actually pretty amazing. Demon Slayer right now, one of the most, if not the most popular and most watched anime there is probably in 2019. Demon Slayer is an anime that I think most people have probably heard of, and I definitely am interested in watching it. I've seen some scenes that have just incredible animation, and the main protagonist from that show is going to be voicing a character in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's that hopefully will have a decent amount of importance. So you have one of the most popular VAs right now, or at least a VA in one of the most popular anime. You have Flame, you have a brand new VA, and then our girl, Roman, she is being voiced by Tomori Kosanoki, who I believe performed the ending for Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online, but she also voiced Karen Kohiramaki, geez, I cannot pronounce that name, / Len. So that is who Roman will be voiced by, the same woman that voiced her in Sword Art Online, Gun Gale Online. She also voiced Melida Angel in Assassin's Pride. There's no other anime here. I'm pretty much an anime noob that I recognize. If you watched Anima Yell, she did the opening and ending for that anime as well as voicing a character. So there is a chance that maybe Tomori, maybe Roman's voice actress, will be performing an opening and ending for Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s as well. It seems she does have a few openings and endings under her belt in anime, including in Sword Art Online, so that'll be really cool. But, you know, we have a very rookie voice actor in Yuga, but he is going to be surrounded by people who are very, very well versed in the industry, and I think it's a good mix of new blood and veteran VA, and of course, voice actors that we're familiar with, the primary example there being Flame. So now it gets fun. Now we move to the staff on the show. And here's where things, I mean, this is going to make or break the show, in my opinion. In my opinion, there's been a lot of mixed reactions. Some people love the change. I've gotten about a dozen to 24 comments where people are saying that Yu-Gi-Oh! Was getting a little stale to them and they wanted to see the animation change up, which doesn't really line up with my opinion on the matter, but there are a decent amount of people out there that wanted to see a bit of a change and really like this different change in art style. And then you have a lot of people that say, this isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, I can't believe they did this for the 20th anniversary nonetheless. So there definitely is a big mixture right now, and I think a lot of people who are saying, you know, I'm going to watch the show, we'll see how it does. If the show really grips me after a few episodes, I'll continue to watch it. And so the real point is the staff working on 7s has their work cut out for them. They really need to hit it out of the park. And if this show does start off like Zexal did, I wasn't a huge fan of how Zexal started out. Loved Zexal overall, especially how it finished and really once Tron got introduced. But if this show does get off to a slow start like Zexal and 15 episodes just kind of drags on, then a lot of people might drop this show. So it's going to be a very important and difficult job for this staff. Now, the director is Kondo Nobuhiro. The series composition, which is the writer, is Takeuchi Toshimitsu. And now we're going to talk about them in a little bit, but I do want to touch that the dual composition is being done by Hikakubo Masahiro, who has worked on Yu-Gi-Oh! Since the very beginning, since Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. So that was that wily veteran in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise that I was talking about earlier. So the duels should be in very good hands. The person writing the duels and overseeing the duels in the anime is someone that has done it for 2 decades. I guess if you're going to have anyone that has worked on Yu-Gi-Oh! Work on any section of the anime, it's going to be the duels, since that can, for someone that doesn't know Yu-Gi-Oh!, be one of the more difficult things to understand. So at least you have a veteran there, meaning the duels should be at the same level as they have been in the past 6 shows. Character designers Tadano Kazuko and Matsushita Hiromi. Our sound director, music is going to be interesting. This is the first show where the sound director is not going to be part of Studio Gallop. The music is not going to be produced by Gallop. Is Yamamoto Hiroshi, and the animation studio, of course, is Studio Bridge. So the animation, the design, it's all going to be so different. The music as well, and of course, we've already seen the designs look much different, but this is someone that has a lot of knowledge on the situation, an insider, if you will, and this is what they had to say on all of the staff working on Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. The Studio Bridge, is a competent shonen handler, not a big one, but they have enough under their belt. The director has decent resume experience and did GZ, which was a fine finale arc for Vanguard, whose problems lay more with Bushiroad's bad habit of cringing at their card game shonens being card game shonens. The writer has at least marginal experience with Yu-Gi-Oh!, but plenty of experience with Jump. Our character designer is a 35-year veteran, and what's really interesting about that is the character designer is actually the woman who designed Sailor Moon. So the woman who designed one of the more iconic animes of the 90s is actually the designer of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7, so that's pretty cool. I never would have expected the Sailor Moon character designer to be working as the character designer on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, so that's pretty cool, and someone who has obviously a lot of experience in the industry. I believe she did a little bit of work on Hunter x Hunter as well, so she has a lot of experience in the industry. The director has 35 years of work experience storyboarding and animating. The writer has 15 years worth of script experience, and while they're all new to Yu-Gi-Oh!, we are not dealing with some hack amateur hour. And that is really, really important, because even though this staff is brand new to Yu-Gi-Oh!, which could, by the way, end up being a complete train wreck, they all have incredible experience under their belt. And sure, they're new to the show, but they know what Yu-Gi-Oh! Means. They know that Yu-Gi-Oh!, even if they don't know the anime that well, they know Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a massive IP and has a lot of fans and has a lot of people supporting them. And so I'm sure they're going to try to do as good of a job as they possibly can. And even though the art style is to try and keep costs down and to cut corners, we might be able to see some really good animation because of it. We might be able to get some really good and well-known artists to do the openings and endings. I always like to think that if you're saving money in some way, you're going to use that money in another way, or you're going to make up for it in some other way. So again, even though the art style is not necessarily, it's going to take me a while to get used to, we have a very good and competent and experienced team working on this anime that makes me hopeful and very optimistic that the story is going to be an enjoyable one. And again, just because characters are young does not mean that the show is going to be immature and aimed at fourth graders. I don't think they're going to do that. While I think it's definitely going to be more comedic than a series like Vrains was, for instance, I still think there are going to be mature topics, very similar to how Zexal did it, that get tackled in this show. But that's just my perspective on it, maybe my optimism, if you will. But I want to hear from you guys what you think of this staff, what you think of the voice actors, and just now that we've had a few days to sit on it and sleep on it and process it, what you think of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's as a whole. I'm very excited to hear from all of you. We do have 3 more full months before this anime does get underway. A special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, James Rose, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Vincent Van Der Veen, Panther J, Smith620, Jorge Leon, and Blue Maiden 28, and to my Diamond tier patrons Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, Sean, and Melinda Phantom, and to my Egyptian God tier patrons Joss Rivers and Syn Cloud. Thank you to everyone who is a patron of mine, and thank you to everyone who is a YouTube channel member and just watches my videos. Without you guys, I would not be able to do this. I will talk to you all things Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.